Hello, hello. Let's dive in, guys. These are some practice problems for your cumulative quiz that's going to be Friday over everything in semester one besides the linear equations we've been doing the last couple weeks. Random fact, the 29th of May is officially Put a Pillow on Your Fridge Day. Got that on my calendar. All right. Fraction and integer operations. Let's see here. I'm going to point out a couple things before you start. Hopefully you haven't paused me yet. Number two, dealing with multiplication of fractions, I intentionally gave you some large values because I wanted to encourage that concept we've learned of cross-reducing before you start the problem. You can multiply just to go straight through to get the answer, but you're going to have a huge answer you have to reduce later, and it's way easier to reduce out those values before you multiply into some huge number to start with. Okay? That concept will also apply to number 3, but remember, you can only cross-cancel with multiplication. So you have to do something on number 3 first. You have to rewrite it, and then when you get to the point where you're in the right place to do your cross-reducing, you can do that. All right, go ahead and work. Go. All right, let's take a look, but first I'm going to move these guys so we have room to work. All right, here we go. First one, we're going to have to get that common denominator. 6 and 9, you could multiply to 54, but let's find something smaller. A common multiple of 6 and 9 is 18, which means we're multiplying the left side by 2, right side by 3. So here we go. And so we've just got 4 minus 24, negative 20/18. We've got some integers going on with our fractions there. Hopefully you guys are watching. And yep, you should reduce that guy down to negative 10 over 9. All right, number 2. We could multiply straight across, but we want to notice that there's some cross-reducing. And I also see a pair of negatives. I'm going to cancel those now so I don't forget. 24 and 6, okay? You're allowed to reduce crossways like this, but also up and down like this. The 24 can reduce with the 30 or the 6. Both are valid. Same thing with the 5. If we look at the 24 and 6, I can take a 6 out of 6. That makes it 1. A 6 out of dividing it to 24 makes it a 4. Now I'll look at the 30 and the 4 and divide a 2 out of both of those. And now I'll go to the 5 and the 15 and divide a 5 out of both of those. The purpose of all that is just to bring it down to very small values for our final problem. And now there's no reducing to have to worry about. 2 times 1, 2 on top. 3 times 1, 3 on bottom. You can get there without doing cross-reducing. You would just have really large numbers to start with and have to do a lot of reducing on your answer. Number 3. We want to rewrite division as multiplication, and remember, you don't do anything with the front problem. It always stays the same. We rewrite the second problem. We flip it, and when we flip that fraction and at the same time switch the operation to multiply, those are going to cancel each other out, and we now have a multiplication problem, and we can go to work. And again, these big values, let's divide a 7 out of 7 and a 7 out of the 14. 12 and 18, I'll divide a 6 out of 12. That makes 2. Divide the 6 out of 18 makes 3. And we've got really small values. 3 times 2 is 6. 2 times 1 is 2. 6 over 2 is 3. And boom, that was easy. All right, number 4 and 5. Let's give ourselves more space here. A little bit of integers. This should be easy. 2 negatives in the middle, cancel. So it's really just 32 bad guys, 27 good guys. That's 5 when we subtract them. And there's more bad guys, so negative 5. All right, last one. Another bit of fractions to make common denominators with. Let's go with 24, which is a multiple of 3 on the right. 9 times 3 is 27. That's a multiple of 4 on the left, making 44. Remember, we've got integer operations going on here, so Bottom stays 24, but it's really a good guy, bad guy problem here on the top. So it's going to be subtraction. What's that? 17, I believe, when you subtract those, and there were more good guys, so it stays positive, 17/24. Okay, there's a quick review of some fraction and integers. All right, let's look at solving equations. Go ahead and let's see, is there anything I want to point out? No, this is all stuff I hope you guys are familiar with and feel pretty comfortable with. So go ahead and solve, pause and solve, go. All right, let's dive in. Number 1, we're just solving for y. Cancel off that -11. Notice there, classic case of bad guys and bad guys. Okay, those are going to add together. Now I'm just going to bring down my -7y. I'm going to get the y by itself, so I'm going to divide off the negatives, the -7. Pair of negatives cancel, and I end up with that y equals 25/7. Running out of room here a little bit. Okay, I'm going to erase that answer so we have some room. Second one. Notice we've got to get rid of that 4. We cannot deal with anything up top here until that 4 is canceled off. It's all kind of locked up in a type of invisible parenthesis prism, so it's all on top of that fraction bar. Similar to a fraction buster. I'm just going to multiply by 4 to cancel there. Do the same on the other side. 13 times 4, that's 52. And now basically you've just unlocked a classic 2-step equation. So now it's like number 1 minus that 2 off. And divide off your -7. That won't divide evenly, so you can just leave it like that. There you go. All right, number 3. Billy's Barbecue sells brisket. I love it. So, $7 a sandwich. That's important information. And the dinner meal add-on is $9. That's our other important piece of information. I have $44 total to spend. That's supposed to be can I buy. I bet you guys noticed that. And I want one dinner meal add-on as well. So the total that I have to spend is $44. And the question is, at $7 a sandwich, how much brisket can I buy? So that has to be 7x. 7 times the number of meals I'm able to buy for that $44. Maybe it's 1, maybe it's 2, or not meals, excuse me, sandwiches. I don't want to confuse you. 1, 2, 3 sandwiches, we'll see. And then this dinner meal add-on is $9, and I want one dinner meal add-on. So add on just that one $9 to the meal, and now I've got a 2-step that I can solve. Cancel off that 9, so that's going to be 35. And we can see pretty easily here. Again, I'm running out of room, but we can see I'm able to buy 5 of those brisket sandwiches. All right, last one, number 4. Okay, first step, remember, we've always got to do our distributing to break anything out of our distributing parentheses. That's where you always want to start. Okay, those guys are locked up. We need to unlock them so we can work with them. So -2 and 5, -10. -2 times the -3 are positive 6r. And then over here, 2 times the r and 2 times the 3 is 6. So that's everybody locked up. They're unlocked now. We can move on. And now combine any like terms. There's some r's and r's. -7 and 6 is -1. The 1's invisible, so I'm just going to write -r. Here we have -r plus 2r. Oh, look at that. We have positive r. And then I'll just bring down that -10 and bring down the 6. Now at this point, I'm going to point out, some of you might be looking for and notice a potential infinite solution or no solution. But that's not the case because notice, if you look close, it's got to be the same thing on both sides. That's a negative r, that's a positive r. So keep going and keep solving. It'll turn itself into a no solution or special solution type of problem or infinite because the variables will disappear. And if we keep working, we'll see that they don't disappear. If I add the r to cancel it and do the same on the other side, we end up getting 2r. So they don't cancel off both sides, they do combine together to make one side set of r's, and now we're back at another two-step. All right, hope you guys are holding up. Hope this stuff makes sense to you. You're remembering it. Okay, last thing, some fraction busters. It's a really good concept I want you guys to know and be able to use, so I threw a couple of those in here as well. Pause it and give those a shot. I will point out one thing to you. Fraction busting only requires that one value on problem number 1, but on problem 2, there's a couple of different fractions that we want to bust. So there'll be 2 steps of fraction busting on number 2. You only have 1 step of fraction busting on number 1. Go. All right. So to fraction bust, I'm going to multiply by number 4. Now the common mistakes I'm seeing kids make still sometimes is they might try to multiply that negative 4 to the top with the x. We shouldn't be doing that because this first term has a negative 4 on the bottom. The whole point of multiplying when you've already divided by a value is that they just cancel. It releases what's on top. You're not multiplying, you're not putting anything else new on the top, it just frees that value. But all the other terms do have to be multiplied. So we've got 6 times the negative 4, negative 8 times the negative 4, positive 32. And now it's a really easy one step. 56, there you go. Okay, second one with 2 rounds of fraction busting. Let's do that. Round 1, I'm going to go with a 4. I'm just going to get the x freed up right off the bat, which requires multiplying everything by 4. Now, kids sometimes get tripped up here. I'm going to erase that problem number because it's in the way. They get tripped up here because they're not sure where to multiply that negative 4. Okay, that's important. You need to multiply it to the top. It's always to the top if it's a fraction, with the exception of the one you're busting. See here, you can think of multiplying that 4 at the top times the x at the top, but multiplying and dividing by 4 are going to cancel. It wouldn't matter if you even wrote it up there. If you wanted to put the times 4 up here, sure. But the point is, multiplying and dividing by 4 are going to cancel each other. You're going to have just x left over. On this one, it's not a canceling value at the bottom of that fraction, so you multiply to the top, so that's going to be negative 8 up top. Leave the 3 on bottom. And now we just have one more round of fraction busting to get rid of that guy. So now we're going to multiply by 3. Those are going to cancel. Notice the negative 8 does not get multiplied. It just busts the fraction. But the 3 does have to multiply on the other values. So now we have 3x, and then negative 32 times 3, negative 96. Once again, we come back to a 2-step. Holy cow, there's a lot of 2 steps today. Is that negative 88, I believe? Divide off that 3, and there you go. All right, guys, hope that all makes sense. Good luck tomorrow. And by the way, I just wanted to add on, all of the videos are available. If there's anything you are struggling with here, literally you can just go back and click on that video and watch any of this content if you need review for it. All right? See you later, guys.